So good evening all. Today we'll be having our last session on ERP and we'll be covering some topics which we have left out in the previous sessions. And with this, your ERP training has come to an end. I hope all of you would practice the same in the training page. And for the same, you will have to get the ID and password from us. You will have to write a mail requesting the same to me. I'll give a mail ID in which you'll have to send the mail in your group. Please make a request so that you'll get the ID and password. Okay. After practicing, you'll have to do an assignment and submit the same to get your certificates regarding the same. And for today's session, we'll have two parts to be covered. In the first part, you'll be covering estimates and ERP connection and how the software and the ERP is connected. And from next session onwards, you will be learning estimation using estimates. So these two are connected and we'll be having that interlinked session today. Then the second half, we'll have some topics from ERP like the tendering. Then we'll have some reports discussed. Okay. Now for the first part, I'll be sharing my screen. And once my screen is visible, just let me know. And if I'm not audible, you may let me know. Inform me if my screen is visible to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now today the topic we'll be discussing is how to convert a 2D drawing to 3D. We do have numerous numbers of softwares available for doing that. You have SketchUp, Revit, 3ds Max, and other softwares. I just mentioned one or two. That's all. And here I'll be mentioning about a plugin. It is used for converting the estimation or estimates output to Revit. Now, what is estimates and what is how do we do estimation using estimates will be discussed in your next session. Okay, and for this part, the first step will be AutoCAD drafting. You'll have to draft the architecture plan, main column layout. I suppose you all have learned to make the green column layout from an architectural plan in your structure training portion. So you can use the same file for estimation. Okay. And once you have done estimation, you'll get a CAD drawing and an estimates file. And for the CAD drawing, it will be in different layers for each element. And all these will be taught to you later. Then we have to draft the okay. Then the second step will be scanning, and scanning is done in estimates. And for this, you have to do few steps and get this estimates file. Once the file is prepared, you have to upload the same in ERP. And in ERP, you have an option to upload estimates file. There are two main functions you can do by uploading an estimates file. One, to create an entire project from estimates file, and the other is to create the 2D, 3D drawing or 3D model from the estimates file. Just to cut down the time taken for modeling in 3D. Like the manual procedure may take hours, but this shortcut will help you to complete the same in a few minutes. Now to upload the file, you'll have to upload the estimates file and note down the project ID which you have created. So it will be like working parallelly. Once you're doing estimation, you can also create the project, do planning, and as well as do the 3D modeling. And from 3D model, you can do the finer estimation. Like for windows, the finer details of finishes, lights, and all these can be done in Revit later. Now coming into a Revit platform, the first step will be to open a new project, and you'll have to choose a template. The template will be structured template because plugin which you're using to extract data from ERP to Revit is based on the structure template. Then we'll have to set the units as in for any drafting or modeling softwares, the first and foremost step is to fix the units. Then you will have to copy the name of a wall family. It can be any name you prefer. You can even create your own family name and use the same. Okay. Then we'll have the it's actually a plugin. It can be found in the add-ins part or as in a separate tab. Now this is the older version. So in the older version, we have the software installed in the add-ins part. Now going to the plugin, you will have two inputs. That is the project ID as well as the family name. That is why we copied the architecture wall family name earlier. You can either give joinery openings, or you can give it as such, because in Revit, rather than using an opening, you will actually provide windows by selecting the wall. So you can use both options. If you don't want to put in joinery, just the civil part is enough. Then you can skip joinery part. Then we have another option, that is a work progress reporting. Here, what actually happens is that the site engineer will select a center line corresponding to the work completed at site. So if brickwork is completed for a particular wall, he will be selecting it from his phone in ERP. That particular portion has been completed, and the same data will be reflected in Revit. If the client gives in the project ID and the wall family name, you can generate which all portions have been completed. So it's like a like a dynamic process wherein whatever work inside can be reported without actually the client going to the site. Now you have to use a draw command to generate the 3D and go to the 3D option to get the file. Now here you can see that the model is separated out in different layers. This is because your SMX file is also being drafted in separate levels. Okay, once once you get this file, you can just assemble them just like you put your Lego houses together. Okay, now this entire thing which can be put together to form a 3D, which might take nearly 2 or 3 hours based on the speed of the person doing it. And the best part is that in actual, if you are going to try to do the entire modeling on your own, you might take an entire day. You'll be able to cut down the number of hours you're spending on a project by using this particular plugin. Now, this is just a portion I would like to show, because there are many other plugins similar to these available in sites. You not the same thing, maybe similar ones, which can help you with your softwares. Now, this is one we have developed for making modeling a bit more easier. And what we do is that after modeling the 3D, as you have noticed here, not just the architecture plan, but also the structural elements are also being recreated. With that, we can start the rebar modeling. Once rebar modeling is done, I think I have covered that part in the previous slide, rebar modeling and its importance. Okay, so once rebar modeling is done, it helps in actually doing the rebar work at site. Okay, that is why we are focusing to bring the 2D drawing to a 3D platform. Now we'll just have a demo of the same. Okay, now if it is on. And for the first part, I'll have to prepare an estimate. I have already done one, so I'll be using the same for this part. And for uploading the estimates file, I'll go to Masters, Projects. In that, we have Upload Estimates file option. Select the same. You'll have to select the project in which you have uploading. Select the project. use upload Estimax option. You'll have to choose a file. You have to choose a Estimax file, open, then upload. And just save it. Okay, the data has been saved. There are two options. Like if I select this one, create task as per Estimax file, then what it does is that you can actually skip the option for creating levels, tasks all by yourself. It is similar to cloning a project. Either you can copy from a similar project or you can copy from the Estimax file if you have done the estimate for the same using Estimax. So there are multiple options to cut down the time required for creating a project plan from it. Okay, now coming back to Revit, go for the new file option, then select the structure template, select OK. As I mentioned earlier, when you're working with a drafting or modeling software, always make sure you're using the correct units. Otherwise, it will be difficult to rescale it. In Revit, rescaling is almost impossible. I'm not saying it's completely impossible, it's almost impossible, and it is very time consuming. It's better you work on the right units. Then you'll have to select a wall family. I'm preferring an architecture wall family because I am not going to use the analytical walls for analysis. Like we can even use an analytical model from Revit for ETABS modeling also. So that is also a side purpose. Here I'm just going for a normal wall. If it's a retaining wall, I can use the analytical walls. Then just escape from that window. Earlier, we used to have it at have the plugin in the add-in side. Now we have just got an update. In that, we have a separate tab for all our plugins. So we have plugins for Estimax to Revit, then to do slab reinforcement, beam reinforcement, and column reinforcement. And we have an auto home builder also. So for right now, I'll be just going with Estimax. I'll have to paste the wall family over here and add the project ID. Now just go back and refer project ID 1695. Then untick joinery because I am not preferring to have the joinery in this particular model. Then just click Pro. Now you're viewing the plan level. Just go to the 3D and go for realistic. Here, the walls are of the same wall family I have selected. Beams and columns will be of a default size. Right now, it requires an update of getting the same size used in the Estimax file, but we'll be working on it soon and bringing it into reality. Okay, now that's about how to bring an Estimax file to 3D. Now I have mentioned about work progress reporting. That is a dynamic work progress reporting. Now that's done in here. Entries, projects, and work progress. Now the main advantage is that whenever work is done at site, the client need not go to the site to inspect what is done. He can sit at his home and view the same in his system without even spending much energy. So that is actually aimed at helping helping a client who is abroad or unable to visit his site on a daily or a weekly basis in order to inspect the progress. He or she can get the same details from his laptop. Now I'll just select a project. Let me see if this is the right project. Currently, we have options for beam, column, and slab. Not slab, beam, column, and brick wall. We'll expand it once we are through from some bugs currently. Okay, now you can see the plan layout of the beam. Now, if in the site the rebar work for a particular portion of beam is done, the site engineer can just select that center line and report. Once you select it, it's turning into green and report that particular portion has been completed, and they can save it. The same will be reflected once the 3D is being generated. I don't have proper data for doing a demo. I'll just share the same in after a while. Okay. Now, I'll hand over the session to Nirmala. She'll be taking a portion from ERP. Hello, Ms. Nirmala.
Hello. Hello.
Okay. You may take over the session.
Okay, Richa. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll be dealing with some of the topics in ERP, like tender preparation and some reports in ERP. So first of all, let us move on to the site for project management, which is PMC. And in this, under masters, we have an option for subcontract tendering. And here we have to move to the create work option. Here we are creating the work for which the tender has to be created. So basically, we are already aware of what a tender is. So a tender is basically placing the bids and reviewing the different contractors' estimate. And in tender, we'll be having a document which have the list of items and tasks with the items along which the rates have to be filled by the contractor itself. So here we'll first need to fill the client, and the client option and project creation was already discussed to you in the previous session. And here we can just select a client. After that, we can select the project name for tender preparation. And once the client and project is selected, we can select the option as convert all task as work. And here we need to tick the task for which the tender has to be prepared. And once the list of tasks are ticked, we can move on to the option called create. And once it is created, we can move to the next option under subcontract tendering, like create subcontract tender. And under this option, we need to select the start date and end date for bidding. And the start date is 28, and after allocating a specific duration and after selecting the project.
You will have to fill the bid publishing date also after bid end date.
Okay. And once the list of tasks is shown on the screen, we can tick on the task that has to be created in the tender document. So once the list is selected, we can move to the save option. Once it is saved, we can go to the
Here EMD is earnest money deposit. Usually some tenders they require an deposit as a security for tendering, and then sometimes there will be a fee of 500 rupees or 1000 rupees for each tender. To cut down the number of participants, there will be EMD and fee depending on the type of tender and the requirements. Okay.
Once the tender is saved, we can move to the search option. And in that, we can select the tender document which was created just now. And after clicking the send mail option, we need to search the mail ID of the contractor to which the tender is to be sent. So I'll be selecting my mail ID. And after ticking my mail ID, I just need to click on send mail option. and then the tender will be sent to the respective mail IDs. So that's how a tender is created through ERP. And next,
Now, why do we try to add tendering in ERP? This is because the actual tender procedure is tedious and it is time consuming. So when more than five contractors or a construction company is participating in tender, then it is difficult for reviewing each item and what is the difference, what is the rate. It will be difficult for doing a manual review, and we might miss some details. In order to prevent that, we are trying to cut down the time. Just by clicking a few pages, you can get the actual concise report in a graphical manner or in a as a report, and you can easily award or select the person to which the tender has to be given. In order to simplify the entire procedure, we have thought of doing it in the ERP. Okay, Nirmala, next topic.
next is the DCR, the preparation for daily construction report.
Okay, Nirmala, we'll just continue with the other. I'll explain in your screen itself. Okay.
Okay.
So, third topic. Subcontract tendering, third topic. Manage bids. Now here, the earlier we said that a work will be created. Once work is created, we can either convert all our tasks into work, or selective tasks can be converted into work. Then we'll prepare the tender document and plot the tender. Once tender is plotted, the contractors will be starting their bid. And once the bid is closed and published, we can cross-check with each of their values and finalize to whom we have to award the award the work. And for that, you can use this page, manage bids. We can see a list of bids. These are different bids done for different projects. Okay, you can select any one bid which has more than 4 people involved. Just go down. Just come down of the page. There are 5 bids in 13. Reference number 13, Anand Department. Just open and manage option. Now, usually you'll get a comparison like this based on the people participating in the tender. And from this, you can directly send a mail to the contractor whom we have selected, stating that you are being granted this work and you can proceed with the rest. Okay, so the entire procedure has been just simplified so that you can just manage it without much stress. Now we can go to the next option of tendering. Here we have work completion certificate. Now the relevance of work completion certificate is that once a contractor is involved with a work with us, they will expect that at the end of the work, we give them a appreciation letter or a certificate stating that they have completed the work properly and stating all their merits so that they can use it for the next work they are trying to do, or for participating in the next tender. Just like an experience certificate, they can use this work completion certificate to show their track record of completing various projects. So this can also be done through ERP so that we don't have to do a manual procedure for the same. Now here we'll have to fill in the company details, inspection date, and the project name. You'll have to fill in the job or task which has been carried out by them, and you can enter the time period. So an automatic certificate can be created and shared with them rather than doing it manually. Okay, then we can go to the next fifth option. And the last one is create work order. Now, for tendering, we usually is referred to large works or works that involve more than 30 or 40 days. For short works or it's works which involve 15 or 13 days, we need not go for the entire bidding and tendering procedure. We just have directly give a work order. Okay, and for that you can use this particular phrase. You can either create a work request or a work order so that it can be given to the contractor directly and they can proceed with the work. It will have details about what is the work, what are the specifications required, who will be attending to it, and its start date and end date, and proposal details will be also be added to this. Now here we have a request type. Just drop down the request type. The top option, request type. Now here the work order option is only available. Then we have the project list, the vendor list. Vendor means here the contractor or the person to whom we are giving this work order. Then we'll have a proposal number that will be generated automatically. And then we have a start and end date. That will be according to our planning. Then attention is for entering the name of the person to whom we are addressing this particular work order. Just come downwards of this page. We have to enter the terms and conditions, and we can also add the payment requirement if we require an advance payment. If there is a what is the total amount to be paid, and all those details can be included over here. Even the GST related data can also be entered this method. Then you will have to go to the create option. Nirmala, just check whether if we have any samples created. Go to the search option. Just print anyone. Okay. Now we have a sample work order over here. Now the main option is that in ERP, with ERP, we are just cutting down the effort of doing various work. Even if it's making a document or creating a report or anything and everything related to a project can be easily managed rather than spending hours typing and writing down things. You can just do it in a click. Okay, now we'll go back to your portion, Nirmala. You can continue.
Okay, so moving on to the reports in ERP. First, we'll be dealing with the DCR. So DCR is basically daily construction report, and it is to be created by the site engineers who deals with the project. So like the name denotes, it is created on a daily basis for effective management, and it gives an idea about the works done on each day, the material consumption, percentage completion of works, images from site, and all. So before creating a DCR, we need to complete a QC form and the resource consumption for a particular day. So now I'll be dealing with the completion of a QC form.
Nirmala, you can skip that portion that has been already covered. You can just go with the DCR part and then go to the next report.
Okay. So in this DCR option, we need to select the date and project for which the DCR has to be created. And we need to fill the visitors list, test or inspections, if any, and the reason for delay. If in case if there is any delay in site, we need to denote the reason and the delay of us. And after completing it, we can also attach the images from site. And after filling all these, we can just click on the create option. Once it is created, we'll be able to view our DCR created in the search option. And from here, we can print the DCR in the PDF format. Okay. So after DCR, the next report is the delay report. So it's also available under the options reports in PMC. So in a delay report, so it is a report which gives us a idea of the percentage of delay in terms of hours or days in case of any project, and it basically represents a tabular format of the tasks that are delayed in a project, the remedial measures adopted, and the reason or cause for delay. So for that, we need to switch on the PM dashboard option under the settings menu. So once the PM dashboard is on, we can click on the save option. And after that, we can go to the home page. So here we'll be able to view a list of projects in which we are assigned as AE or team lead. And here we'll go for the project name trial for delay report. And here we can see that all of these tasks are assigned as delayed task. So for example, if we move on to this task, which is file cap shuttering, we can see that infinite delays are visible under this task. So if we click on the infinite delay, a new tab will be opened, and here we can choose the responsible person for the delay. And here, after selecting the cause for delay, we can also vary the number of days delayed. And here we can type the cause for delay, that is unavailability. And here we can suggest a remedial action, that is increase So once the course and action is filled, we can click on save. And once it is saved, we can go to the reports menu. And under that, we can go to the delay or early reports. Here we can select the project name and start date and end date. We can go for September 1. And click on export menu. So here we can see that the date and percentage of delay, cause of delay, and action suggested. And once it is created, we can click on the print option, and here we can have the PDF format of the delay report. So after the delay report, we can move to the next report, which is DCR datewise report. So once the DCR is created for individual days, there is another option in ERP, which is DCR datewise report. Here we get a summation of a large number of DCRs that can be created over a particular duration for a particular project. That is, if we select the name of the project over here, name of the project, and we can select the start date and end date for which the DCRs or the combined DCRs are to be viewed. So here we can select the start date as April 1st and end date as May 1st, and we can click on the abstract option. So since it is a big project, we'll be requiring some time for it.
Nirmala, meanwhile, you can open the next page. Let this load.
Okay. Please.
There are numerous reports in the reports page. We won't be covering all those reports. You can explore the same by opening and checking in the training page once you gain access to the same. Okay, we'll be just mentioning about the important ones. All these reports are just aimed to better management of the project. Even the delay report, we just aim to cut down the delay in a project so that you can save the time as well as the cost and resources involved in the project. I think the earlier page has been loaded. Just check. You may explain the other in V2. If V2 is available.
Yeah. So the next report is next report is workflow report. So it's a report which gives us an idea about the workflow of employees working in our system for the time period under consideration. So
I guess Nirmala, we can just put off this portion. I'm also getting it delayed because I think there is a update running in PMC.
okay.
Even my page is getting hanged.
Okay.
Let them explore these reports on their own, and we'll help them out if they have any doubts regarding the same. Okay. For all these reports, what you have to do is that just open that particular page, enter the basic data like the project name or a time duration, and you'll get the report. It's in that manner, just like how she took the DCR report. Similarly, we can take the delay report, even the purchase and restock report, and all these can be taken in the similar manner itself. Okay, if you want and if you are interested, you may ask for another session regarding the same. We'll be happy to do the same. Right now, we have a update running in PMC, so the page is hanged for a minute. I'll just share the earlier portion. I was discussing about dynamic work progress reporting. So I'll just continue with the same. Now, as I mentioned earlier, dynamic work progress reporting is also a part of Estimax. Now, the application is that you can view a 3D model of exact stage of project inside. The client need not visit the site. He or she can generate 3D model. You will have to just enter the project ID and other basic parameters, and you can view the 3D of the same. The steps are the same. First drafting, then scanning, and we have the uploading part similar to Estimax upload. Then we have the data entry part. Now we'll start from here. In data entry part, we'll go to the work progress page as I've shown earlier. Then select the project. You'll have to select the level and the task. Then go to the date on which you need the data. You can see the task progress based on the date selected and the task selected. And the resource involved can also be viewed. Then we'll have to enter the mbook data. This will be done by the site engineer, and for that you'll use the plus sign. Then we'll enter the data like the description, numbers, length, breadth, and other data relating the particular task. Now, once the quantity is entered, you will have to select the center lines. And for the same, you'll have a plus option over here. You can even select the item, either it's a brick, beam, or column. Then you have to go to the 2D option to see the plan from which you can select the center line corresponding. Now the red marked ones are the ones which has been selected and already entry has been made. And then we go to the plus sign to add the data. Now with this you can save. You can either edit or save, and then the 3D can be viewed in the same step procedure as earlier. You can go to the template, then you can set the units, select a family name, then go to add, go to the plugin and enter the project ID and a family name, select work progress and click draw. From that, you can see the portions you have already selected. Now this is scattered because the selection was not done properly. Okay. Now that's a synopsis of a dynamic work progress. Now that won't be I don't think it's available in your training page because it's related to site and active in our PMC page. But if you're interested regarding the same, you can inquire and we'll try to get you connected with it. Now I'll just discuss about the assignment. Your ERP assignment. This is the ERP assignment you will have to complete for getting the certificate, and all questions are mandatory. You'll have to submit the answers along with a screenshot of the same. Then it should be it can be a PDF or a Word document as you prefer. You have to submit it once the last date is declared. Right now, I'm not mentioning the submission date or the presentation date. Once you have submitted the assignment, we'll have a date fixed for your evaluation, wherein you'll have to come and present your project planning and a few other questions asked. It will be an on-spot session and each person will be handled in a separate session. It won't be a group session. It will be separate for each person, just like an interview. And this will also act as an interview for your recruitment. Now, there are instructions for completing each question. You can go through these questions and ask your doubts if you have any. I'll be posting the same in your WhatsApp group. Okay, any doubts regarding the points we have discussed today? Is there anything you want to revisit or learn again in detail? If you have any enquiries or requirements to learn something in detail regarding ERP, you may let me know and we can have a session in person, or if there's a majority, I can get a comment session for you. Okay, why we are introducing so many plugins and softwares is that there are numerous softwares being invented and updated every day by various firms just to help the employees cut down the time spent in a project, because time is money and saving time is equal to saving the money spent up in a project. And most of the companies today are trying to connect with a software in order to cut down the time they are spending in a project. And it will also help in reviewing easily. Rather than reviewing a manual, reviewing a written document, it is easy to review a PDF because we can just go for a search option. But in a written document, you'll have to sit and read for hours in order to completely understand and check the errors in it. That is the difference actually coming up. And I'll expect in the coming 10 years, entire of civil engineering industry will be run on softwares, because that's the best way and the most easiest and accurate way of managing a project. Okay, With this, I'm winding up the section. If you have any doubts, I'll just pause for a few minutes. Hope you all will do the ERP assignment and submit when it is announced. You may go through the questions and ask your doubts and clear the same before the deadline. Thank you all.